It's time for the Rock Report on 106.5 The Buzz.
Brought to you by the Rock Report blog at 1065thebuzz.com. I'm Otto. Rammstein have shared a nearly 1-hour documentary, Rammstein World Stadium Tour 2019 to 2024 on YouTube, focusing on the band's touring activities over the past 5 years. According to an official description of the video, it's, quote, a journey spanning 5 years, 135 concerts, and an incredible 6 million fans in attendance, unquote. It is, of course, streaming on YouTube. Meanwhile, StageIt.com will live stream the all-star tribute to Great White vocalist Jack Russell from the world-famous Whiskey A Go-Go on Tuesday, January 14th. The tribute will be hosted by comedian Al Sparks and will include Don Dokken, Lita Ford, Joey Allen, and Jerry Dixon from Warrant, and Great White members Terry Illes and Andrew Freeman, amongst many others. The event will benefit the Lewy Body Dementia Association and the Defeat MSA Alliance. LA Guns have announced a new album, Leopard Skin, will be released in April of 2025, and in support of the LP, the band has announced tour dates for next year. The first leg of the Lucky MFer tour, however, will mostly cover the southern U.S. and run through May. More dates are expected for the back half of the year. Primus played the first concert since the recent unexpected departure of longtime percussionist Tim Herb Alexander Monday night in Oakland. Sitting behind the drums for the show was Brian Brain Mantilla, who previously played with Primus when Alexander originally left the group in 1996. Video of the gig is streaming online. Primus is scheduled to be a part of the Sensanta 2.0 tour with Pucifer and A Perfect Circle coming to the American Family Insurance Amphitheater in Milwaukee Saturday, May 31st. Sammy Hagar recently took to Instagram with criticism of Alex Van Halen for leaving the Van Hagar era out of his memoir, Brothers. The memoir focuses on Alex's life and times with Eddie Van Halen, but ends with the original departure of David Lee Roth in 1985. After Hagar posted a picture from 1991 on Instagram showing himself with Eddie, it led to a terse exchange with a fan over the group's legacy that included him saying, quote, Alex is not doing his brother's musical legacy justice by not acknowledging all the #1 albums and some great music Eddie and I wrote together. Not Alex, but Eddie and I wrote together. To not acknowledge those 10 years of music is blasphemy to his brother's musicianship, songwriting, and legacy, unquote. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has no plans to change its name, despite a steady influx of artists from outside of the rock and roll genre. Rock Hall Chairman John Sykes explained to Vulture that despite calls for a name update to the Music Hall of Fame after adding hip-hop, country, and pop artists the last few years, that isn't going to happen. Sykes saying, quote, I think it's because some people don't understand the meaning of rock and roll. If you go back to the original sound in the 50s, it was everything, unquote. Sykes also added that the challenge is changing the public perception of what rock and roll is, explaining, quote, rather than throwing the name out, it's doing a better job of communicating to people where rock and roll came from and what it's truly about. Once they hear it that way, they understand, unquote. And that is the Rock Report. For these stories and more, including audio, video, and links, go to the Rock Report blog, 1065thebuzz.com.